Unit 1. Locating the Awakening, Background and Contexts. Objectives. In this unit, we are going to explore the novel The Awakening by Kate Chopin, focusing on its background and various contexts. By the end, you'll understand the setting in which Chopin wrote, the sociocultural backdrop of the 19th century, and how these elements influence the novel's themes and characters. We'll also dive into the symbols used in the novel and get a broader view of Chopin's work. 1. Introduction. The Awakening is a novel by Kate Chopin that first came out in 1899. It tells the story of Edna Pontellier, a woman who struggles with her roles as a wife and mother while seeking personal freedom and identity. The novel was controversial at the time because it discussed female independence and sexuality in a way that society wasn't ready for. The intellectual setting of The Awakening. During the time The Awakening was written, the world was buzzing with new ideas about identity, freedom, and the role of women in society. People were starting to question traditional roles and explore the idea that women could be more than just wives and mothers. This period saw the rise of feminist ideas, though they weren't fully accepted or mainstream yet. Chopin's novel reflects this intellectual turmoil and contributes to the conversation by presenting a woman's quest for self-discovery and autonomy. 3. The 19th century, a sociocultural background. The 19th century was a time of massive change. The Industrial Revolution had transformed how people worked and lived, and there was a strong divide between the social classes. Meanwhile, the Victorian era, with its strict moral codes and emphasis on propriety, dominated society, especially in Britain. 1. 19th century Britain. In Britain, the Victorian era was marked by a rigid social hierarchy and a moral code that valued modesty, hard work, and respectability. Women, in particular, were expected to be the moral guardians of the family, focusing on home and children. However, towards the end of the century, these norms began to be questioned, leading to the rise of feminist movements and calls for women's suffrage. 4. Location, the writer and the novel. Kate Chopin lived in a time of transition and challenge. Born in 1850, she experienced the American Civil War and the changing social landscape that followed. Her work is deeply influenced by her surroundings, including the Creole culture of Louisiana, which offered a different perspective on race, class, and gender roles. The Awakening is set in this unique cultural milieu, reflecting the complexities of identity and societal expectations. 5. Symbolizing in The Awakening. Chopin uses symbols throughout The Awakening to deepen the narrative and highlight themes. For example, the sea represents freedom and escape for Edna, a place where she feels alive and in control of her destiny. Birds are also significant. They symbolize the constraints of societal expectations on women, with caged birds representing the trapped lives many women led. Through these symbols, Chopin weaves a richer, more complex narrative. 6. Kate Chopin's oeuvre. Kate Chopin's body of work is not extensive, but it is impactful. Beyond The Awakening, she wrote short stories and essays that also explore themes of identity, autonomy, and the human condition. Her work, once criticized and largely ignored, is now celebrated for its pioneering exploration of women's issues and its contribution to American literature. In summary, The Awakening by Kate Chopin is a novel that not only tells the story of one woman's quest for self-discovery but also reflects the broader intellectual and socio-cultural shifts of the 19th century. Through her exploration of the constraints placed on women by society and their struggle for autonomy, Chopin offers a timeless commentary on the human desire for freedom and identity.